What's up, guys? It's your boy Chrysalis here, and this is going to be my reaction on how the 97th Academy Awards went down. If you missed them, there might be like a replay or something on Hulu or something that you can go watch, or you can just find plenty of clips on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or what have you. I'm not going to go too deep into the show itself, but I will say that as a viewing experience, it was really good. Gets 2 thumbs up for me. Conan O'Brien definitely was fantastic all throughout the ceremony. He was hilarious. That Carlos Sofia Gascon joke that he did was brutal. Just in front of her when she's in attendance. There were some really cool performances too, like when Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo did songs I would assume were from the Wizard of Oz franchise or what have you. Not sure what the second song was. I'll still have to look that up. So future me will correct me in post, I'm sure. Hey, it's future me here. She performed Home from The Wiz, which is why I wasn't familiar with it since I have not watched The Wiz. There was also a really cool homage to the James Bond franchise that was awesome. I enjoyed watching that. The In Memoriam was good too, even if the choice in that specific dirge of Mozart's was a choice. And I'm still not alone in thinking that. And even a lot of people were like, what is this music choice, bro? What are we doing here? So yeah, there ended up being like a lot of cool things about the Oscars as a viewing experience. So if you're down for a laugh, if you are down for just experiencing the awards ceremony drama and tea or what have you, then definitely give it a rewatch. I definitely still prefer the 96th Academy Awards over the 97th Academy Awards, despite Jimmy Kimmel existing. But needless to say, the 97th not only was a good viewing experience, but the results of the awards definitely could have been worse. Especially what I kept reading from anonymous ballots that were posted by IndieWire and Variety and etc. that had me questioning the eligibility and sanity of all these voters. And I have a rant about that in the description below. It's on TikTok, actually. And I mean that in the most complimentary way imaginable. I'm going to cover all the nominees and the winners by whether or not they were nominated for Best Picture first, and then all the other ones that weren't nominated for Best Picture I'll cover. Specifically, our winner, our big winner, Anora. Anora walked away with 5 Academy Awards. 5 of them. 4 of them going to Sean Baker, who served as producer, editor, director, and writer of the movie. And needless to say, he ended up winning Academy Awards for all 4. Mikey Madison also, to me anyway, surprisingly taking Best Actress that night as well. To me, it really feels like a little bit of an upset over Demi Moore, who a lot of people had kind of been locked in on Demi Moore taking the Oscar for Best Actress for her role in The Substance. It kind of reminds me a little bit of last year when Emma Stone took Best Actress over Lily Gladstone. And if I recall correctly, those two were essentially neck and neck at the awards circuit. As far as whether or not I am pleased or disappointed that our Best Picture winner is Anora, I'm definitely pleased with it. If it wasn't going to be Dune Part 2, and honestly, the writing was on the wall at that point, that Dune Part 2 was not leaving with Best Picture. Anora definitely was my second pick for sure. For those who have not watched Anora yet, they are re-showing it in select theaters from what I understand, and eventually they're going to be putting it on Hulu come March the 17th, I believe. So definitely go watch Anora. It's fantastic, in my humble opinion. And it's just so refreshing to see that a movie about a sex worker, and by extension, Sex Workers is our Best Picture winner for this year. The Brutalist also taking away a handful of Oscars as well. They ended up winning cinematography, Best Actor, shout out to Adrian Brody, as well as Best Original Score. I still kind of wish that those categories went to other nominees. Like, I would have preferred to see Best Actor go to Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, which, spoiler alert, A Complete Unknown walked away with nothing. As well as original score maybe going to Conclave, or cinematography going to either Greg Fraser for Dune Part 2 or Jaron Blaschke for Nosferatu. But needless to say, at least it wasn't Emilia Perez. Which is a nice little segue to say that it still took home at least a couple of Oscars. Actually, just a couple of Oscars. Best Supporting Actress for Zoe Saldana, which I'm not surprised to see, since in a lot of ways the writing was on the wall in terms of whether or not that movie was going to win Best Actress or not, or Best Supporting Actress, I mean. And it also walked away with Best Original Song, which, in my humble opinion, that was just a devoid and vapid category. And given that there were 2 slots that Emilia Perez took, it was more likely than not that El Mal was going to win. And on that note, I am happy to say that I will not have to think about Emilia Perez anymore, and I will not have to talk about Emilia Perez anymore unless for some unknown reason something comes up about the movie that just warrants a video. And I can just breathe a sigh of relief. Exhale the negative energy. Emilia Perez is no more. Dune Part 2 also being one of the winners that ended up taking 2 Oscars. It ended up taking Best Sound and Best Visual Effects, which, good for it, honestly, because those 2, aside from obviously the cinematography and the original score, but that got disqualified, were definitely the strongest things about the movie for sure. Everything from like the fighting and just the sounds of the desert, as well as just how the desert looked and how the worms looked for sure. If it ended up losing visual effects, I wouldn't know what to think. Shame that it ended up not winning more, and shame it did not get nominated for more, but I mean, it is what it is. Also, in terms of Best Picture nominees that ended up taking at least a couple of Oscars, Wicked also took home costume design and production design. Definitely not my first choice in terms of who I think should have took both. Needless to say, if it had to be anything that wasn't Emilia Perez, I'm at least pretty glad it's Wicked. Wicked's not that bad of a movie, guys. Outside of the overexposure in the cinematography, as well as just some choice decisions that John Chu made as a director, the movie's still good. At least I think so. And then apart from that, again, A Complete Unknown took nothing, which is unfortunate to see. Conclave ended up leaving with Best Adapted Screenplay, which, yay. Screenplay for Conclave was just so magnificent, in my opinion. I'm Still Here took home Best Foreign Film, which not only is it just an important movie, and I've gone at length about how important it is in my video about the movie, it won over Emilia Perez, so that's always a bonus. Nickel Boys took home nothing except awareness, I suppose. Nickel Boys really felt like the Past Lives of this year. If you don't remember, Past Lives was nominated for just a handful of Oscars, one of which being Best Picture, and it won nothing. It was kind of just there. So Nickel Boys reminded me of Past Lives in that regard. And The Substance took home Best Hair and Makeup, which, if you've not watched the movie, you definitely should, and after you have watched the movie, you gotta give it up for The Substance in this category. Outside of that, Flow took home Best Animated Film, which, good for Flow. Flow is excellent movie. I honestly couldn't choose between Flow or The Wild Robot if I tried, So I was anticipating the possibility of a tie, but you know, if it had to go to anyone, I'm glad it went to Flo. And for Best Supporting Actor, Kieran Culkin took it home with A Real Pain. And again, if you have not watched A Real Pain, you definitely should. It's great, and Kieran is just magnificent in that movie as well. A lot of people seem to think that it is category fraud and he should have been nominated for Best Actor, but in so many ways, the movie isn't necessarily about him. It's more so about Jesse Eisenberg's character, but he definitely does a great job at kind of blurring the lines between lead and supporting. And I just can't really think of a performance in the Best Supporting category that was just better than his. I mean, Guy Pearce comes close, but I want to give one more shout out to Best Documentary Feature Film. The winner of that was No Other Land. Very important documentary about the Israeli-Palestine situation, what's going on in the Gaza Strip. It is amazing that this movie has accumulated more Oscars and more awards in general than it has any kind of distribution whatsoever. So if you're near a theater and you can watch it, or if you can download it on digital or whatever, definitely give No Other Land a shot. I most certainly will soon. But yeah, that about covers all the winners. Again, I'm pleased with how not terrible the results were, but I'm also pleasantly surprised by Anora taking as much as it did. I know there's a lot of discourse on social media about whether or not Anora should have won, and Anora being this and that and yada yada yada. But me personally, Anora was, out of all the Best Picture nominees, my second favorite movie out of all of them. So I'm very happy to see the movie win. And if I do have the time, I'm definitely going to catch Anora in theaters once more. And if I can't, then I'll watch it on Hulu. And if I can't watch it on Hulu for some unknown reason, my Criterion copy will come in the mail eventually. And most importantly, I'm just so appreciative that the Oscars, to me, felt like I can finally just close the final page on 2024 in film. I'm still going to try to do videos about movies that I feel like should have been nominated for Best Picture or should have received nominations, period. But overall, the Oscars to me always feel like the last hurrah, the big celebration of the previous year in film. And needless to say, I am definitely looking forward to what 2025 has in store for movies. Which kind of leads me to a segue that my next video is going to be about what movies that came out this year so far that I've watched from January all the way up to a few days ago. Because as busy as I was on the series, I have watched movies. I have been watching movies in theaters that have been coming out, so prepare for that video. And if you're anticipating that video as well as other videos I'm going to be putting out, consider subscribing. It's free, and I think I'm kind of cool. And also don't forget to like the video if you like this video, and leave a comment about how you felt about the Academy Awards this year, and what did you want to win, what did you want to lose, yada yada yada. This is your boy Chrysalis here, signing off.